So, we talked about what the 10 important points are. So, Yang Cheng Fu, founder of this form, this style, would have to go and teach across the land to get the discipline spread across to as many people so that people like us have it today. And he would, his students left behind would be like, well, got any tips? What should we work on while you're gone? And that's where these came from. So, and like I said before, C.K. Chu's Principles of Practice. This is a very old copy. It's spiral bound, but we do have it in paperback here. Excellent translation of these and commentary that makes fantastic sense. It's not overwhelming. It's very easy to understand, and we have that book. So if any of you don't have it and would like it, get in touch with us and we can get it to you. So the second of the important points is close the chest and lift the back. In Nei Kung, it's called chest concave. In Tai Chi, the 10 important points, it's close the chest and lift the back. And there is a little bit of a distinction there. So I'm just going to read the commentary for it, and then I'm going to talk about the differences, and then we're going to do the form. So commentary, close the chest means the chest should be slightly inward, concave, so that the chi will sink down to the dantian, that energy center that we've talked about before. Avoid sticking the chest out. If it's sticking out, the chi will rush to the chest, and the upper part of the body will be heavy, so you'll be top heavy, and the lower part light, and the center of gravity will be too high, and the root will be lifted up. Lift the back so that the chi will stick to the back. If you're able to close the chest, then you will automatically be able to lift the back. There's a lot of that in here. Well, if you do this, then this. And you're like, what? It's not helpful. But that's just kind of how these go. So if you're able to close the chest, then you will automatically be able to lift the back. If you are able to lift the back, then the strength will be able to come from your back. In this way, you will find no opponents. I've always liked that. You will be victorious. Okay, so a couple of things this is trying to communicate, and I'm going to make the distinction between this and Nei Kung, which is a little bit potentially more exaggerated than as described in the 10 important points. So if you look at the book of Nei Kung, you'll see that C.K. Chu, he is very concave. He's a grandmaster, so he can keep his head suspended and his shoulders down and be very rounded, where that would be difficult for me to be as rounded as that and keep my head suspended, my loose waist, keep my tuck. That would be tough for me. But it is a little more exaggerated in Nei Kung. Whereas I like the definition of closed chest, lift the back. If you think of Bruce Lee, he was not a large person, but when he puffed out, he looked immense across the chest, and he was a master at closing his chest and lifting his back. You can kind of see him puffed out. I always think of that when I think of closed chest, lift back. And some of it is a mental thing. You think closed chest, lift back, but the practical aspect of that is if you, goodness forbid, have to use any of these techniques, it's putting the strength in your back, which has got a lot more muscles and a lot more force behind it than just your arm or whatever it is, the technique. So it's, again, a way of connecting your whole body to these movements versus just a particular limb or a technique. The philosophical thing is, well, just think about it. If I think lift my back, I can try this with me. Lift your back. I actually feel my root in my feet getting better, getting stronger, more stable. Now, if I stick my chest out, I feel that wobbliness. And that's that top heavy where if somebody just pushed on me, it could throw me off balance. But if I stay head suspended, I'm not slouching. I've got my root, my head suspended, my shoulders are down, and I think close my chest and lift across this back, kind of between your shoulder blades. You think lift through that. That's a different way of standing straight. Like I feel rooted to the floor, and I feel very strong. Like if somebody were to push on me, I don't feel like I would be knocked over. Hopefully you're experiencing the same kind of thing. So just practice that. Think, don't slouch, but there's this, and I feel super heavy and not so good. I think closed chest, lift back. That feels pretty good. That feels real good. Now, stick your chest out and see what that does to your root. I mean, my feet instantly feel like they're kind of unstuck from the floor. So hopefully by kind of experiencing those 3 levels, you kind of understand or get a sense of what closed chest lift back is about. And now let's at least twice, possibly 3 times depending on time, let's run the entire first section of the form. Don't think about anything else except closed chest lift back. It's okay if the feet are wrong, if the hands are wrong, if your head doesn't stay suspended, it's okay. Just think about putting your attention in that closed chest lift back, all right? And I'm gonna do it, no words, no names, just follow along. If it seems too slow for you, that's okay. Just don't get frustrated, follow along at your pace. But usually in these kind of free form type things, we tend to slow it down just a little bit to give you a chance to think about the point that we're working on, okay? Closed chest, lift back. Begin. Where I'd be like, how'd that feel? So I'm listening, and maybe I'll pick it up through the air. I can say for me, my arms felt lighter as I did that, focusing on closed chest lift back. It felt more effortless. And I found that my breathing was actually a little easier. I actually felt like I had a little more lung capacity, felt more relaxed in my chest, even though it was lifting through my back. So send us what you've experienced with those. We love hearing that. No two journeys are the same, and usually what you share is usually beneficial to somebody else. So, all right, we have time. Let's do that one more time. Close chest, lift back. Don't think about anything else. All right? Hopefully that was enjoyable for you. We have a student here who got really good at Tai Chi. She's been with us for 16 years, something like that. And the legend goes, how did she get good at this? Is she spent a week per point, basically, where for 1 week she did nothing but think about head suspended. And another week she did nothing but think about closed chest, lift back. So that's something that you can do. It's impossible to really think, I'm going to do all of them all at once. It's too much. But by spending time focusing on one, they are cumulative. So you kind of lay down that foundation of one. It's still running. That program is still running in the background while you focus on the next one. So keep that in mind as something that you can do in your home practice as we get through these points and you get to hear them and play along with them a little bit. And with that, we will bow out Black Sash training. Remember, new life skill, it's Dragon, Creative Spirit. And then we'll be right back out for Master's Path. All right. The path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit. Right hand up, left hand down. Switch places. Step back with the right. Pull back with the hands. Shift forward. Knows no self-doubt. The path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit has no self-doubt. The path of self-mastery requires a creative spirit. A creative spirit has no self-doubt. With that, we'll bow out Black Sash training.